I never use strategy ever. And that was... oh, that was great. Hello and welcome back to our Sturgian Viking, and I have been doing some, well, head lopping, shall we say. Yes, I've been doing quite a bit of head lopping, just basically the people that I outlined in the previous episode, and otherwise we have now leveled up our charm skill to 200. So what? Well, basically it doesn't make any difference, does it? I can just randomly select basically whatever. Anyway, as you can see right here, we have a little bit of an issue with this army. I have pretty much just been trying to run them around, waste their time, get their cohesion down and everything. And now, I think I believe I noticed a comment either on the previous episode or one of the previous episodes at the very least, and someone was mentioning about executions providing a positive relation gain for the enemies of the person that you literally just executed. And I think that that is a fantastic idea. I think that is extremely clever and definitely something that should be implemented, because let's face it, you know, if you kill, I don't know, let's just have a small example here. If the Vlandians are at war with the Batanians and you execute Dirthart, for example, then surely you should gain a pretty significant relation gain with every Batanian vassal, or at the very least with some of the Batanians that are not particularly huge fans of Dirthart himself. I think that really does make a huge amount of sense. And as I've said before, I feel like there should be a lot more interactivity with people on the world map. I feel like the limitation that is currently implemented, which is basically just... there are three, basically, what you can do, right? So basically, you can take people prisoner. That's absolutely fine. That's a standard. It should be always included, of course. And then you have the ability to let them go. So you gain some relation. You potentially gain honor as well, because obviously that's an honorable thing to do, to let your enemies leave, I guess. But maybe a little bit foolish, dependent on what's actually happening at the time in the game. They might become too powerful if you continue letting them go. And then what's the other one? Well, executing. That's it. Those are the three things that you can do with enemy vassals. Technically, you could also persuade them, but obviously that's been limited quite considerably by the various doors that you need to unlock to be able to get to that wonderful Nugar center that they might very well have. But yeah, anyway, usually that's money, relation, persuasion skill, charm skill, whatever you want to call it, and just having something that they want. And, well, most of the time they are going to have some kind of locked door that you need the key for, and it's going to be very difficult. And otherwise, if they're in an army as well, that also makes a huge difference to whether they are even able to listen to you in a persuasion attempt. So there's a lot of different things, a lot of different hurdles that you're going to have to jump over to be able to make any kind of headway with vassals in general. And I think in general, that idea that you had in the comments, that sounds fantastic. That really does sound like a really cool idea, because at the moment, what I've been doing, obviously, is continuing to execute people that fit my criteria. And you know what I get? I literally just get 1,000 messages saying, your relation has decreased with this person and that person and so on. And you know what? I have mentioned this previously, but having a little bit more information and options available when doing a siege is also going to be something that is definitely on my wish list for things to be implemented into the game later on in development. And a little bit of a quality of life improvement as well, which might be quite nice to have as well. Obviously, I'm not entirely sure whether this is... whether it's realistic, but there's already a huge amount of information available through the alt menu here, so don't see why they maybe perhaps should or shouldn't add additional information on that menu. For example, what about cohesion? I'd love to see the amount of cohesion that they have, so you can actually tell how close a particular army is to disbanding. Same thing with food supplies and stuff like that. Because I can already tell from a glance, hey, these guys have, what, 115 Vlandian recruits. In a real situation, you're not really going to have the ability to determine how many units they actually have at a glance. But obviously, because this is a game, after all, it is going to have those kinds of features, which is actually very nice because it does end up giving the player just that much more information about how they're going to go about attacking, engaging, and indeed maybe even defeating or being defeated, if you're like me. And yeah, I think it would be quite cool to have the cohesion display in here. This also, in my opinion, needs to be a little bit condensed because, as you can see, it's way too large for the screen itself. It's just not really going to be that conducive to providing that much information if the army is large enough. Now this is not particularly something that I wanted to do. All things considered, I feel like this is a potentially big mistake. Now, because Fafan has 24 relation with us, I'm actually going to support him quite a lot here. Oh, wow. Okay, even a 40 influence spend is not giving me that much relation. I actually thought it would give me quite a bit, but okay. Seems like I need to go hard when it comes to supporting people. Corinios? Corinios has joined the Sturgians? Wait a minute. Who is that? Who is Corinios again? Let me actually take a look, because as far as I'm aware, they were people that joined Achios. I see. Varnovopol, hello there. So Varnovopol has now actually switched sides, because Corinios was indeed a Khuzate fief, and apparently they were just waiting for the Khuzate to declare war or for some kind of conflict to arise between the two factions to be able to jump ship, and that is exactly what they've done. So it seems like they are quite underhanded. That particular clan is quite underhanded. It seems like Fafan is going to be having some issues here. Yes, he's indeed running, which is to be expected, of course. How is your army doing, Mr.? Not very well. Not very well whatsoever. I'm actually going to see if I can maybe do a little bit of dividing and conquering here. If Fafan decides to get himself killed, then that is up to him. I am still attempting to eliminate as many minor factions as I can get my hands on. And I think we have almost eliminated one of the Azarai-focused ones, because they seem to be working for the Vlandians right now. Ooh, this is going to be bad. Yeah, this is a huge stomp for the Vlandians. I won't be able to go in there. Unfortunately. But hopefully I will be able to, if my people, as you can no doubt see in the bottom right, I've actually called for an army myself, and hopefully they will come and assist us, and then maybe we'll be able to tackle this army once and for all. And if we take them prisoner, we're going to be executing them. Oh, yes. Aha! So it seems like we have full strength now, and I will now be making my way over. Oh, it seems like Zavarina is actually not here, but I believe she was a full 7 days travel away from us. So, yeah, we're just going to go in here and see what happens. Whoa, the power levels are actually kind of worrying. I'm actually wondering if I should just wait. Should I just wait? I could potentially do that, because if we wait and get Zavarina to actually join us, then it might make sense. Also, the cohesion decay for our opponent here might very well be kicking in soon, and I would love to have the advantage. I really don't want to head into a situation where we're going to end up losing a significant amount of people just because I was impatient, and that's always a very annoying thing for me to deal with. Impatience. You know, generally I'm quite a patient person sometimes. But, oh. Is she... Are you serious? She literally went in there? I don't even know. I don't even know what to say to this. Because I was literally waiting for her to join our army, and apparently her army just literally got crushed in under... what, 2 seconds or something like that? I can't even believe it, to be honest. Anyway, there we go. We do have we actually have a pretty decent combat strength advantage. I did not realize that. It seemed like we had a pretty even one, but apparently, according to the in-game meter, we are quite a bit more on the advantageous side. So we'll see what happens there. They're 400 meters away, or 400 yards, or whatever it is. Ooh, he's trying to take us out. He's trying to take us out right here and now, and I'm actually being a little bit strategic here for once. Yes, I know. It is unheard of. It is unheard of, absolutely. I never use strategy ever. And that was... oh, that was great. That was absolutely fantastic. Those are the kinds of moments I absolutely love, because literally I'm like, yes, I use strategy. I'm very good at using strategy. And then I turn around and boom, get hit by a huge horse. I probably would have died in real life, to be fair. Getting hit by a horse in that fashion probably would have been grievously wounded in some way or another, but still. Anyway, I've placed my infantry into a shield wall and we're just going to be moving towards them. I decided to wait over there in that small dip because the archers of the enemy would not be able to see us extremely easily then, and we would have a bit more time to kind of prepare ourselves for the inevitable charge at them. And that's exactly what we're doing. You can see here that the enemy is actually in a circular formation. Not entirely sure why they decided to do that, because now we are going to fully encompass them, as you can see. Look at this. Look at what is actually happening here. This is really bad for them. I don't know why they decided to stay in a circular formation. This is really a hugely detrimental maneuver for them to take. And oh yeah, that's what you get. That is what you get. Very nice indeed. Let's see if we can do some damage to these guys as well. And this guy, maybe? No. The camel riders are actually quite damaging, so I'd like to try and eliminate them if I can. Bear in mind that, obviously, we do have to be a bit careful about taking lances to the face. If I do get myself eliminated, then obviously that is pretty bad, because then my people are going to start auto-delegating, and we know how terrible they can be in those situations. But thankfully, I'm not taking too much damage right now. I can hopefully wander into the archer's den and try to do massive damage that way as well. Got to be very careful here. Oh dear. Okay, this is somewhat bad. Okay, no, fine. Okay, get him. 70 damage, really? That's not enough. There we go, that's enough. That is enough. Okay, let's tell my cavalry and my other cavalry and my archers to charge in, because then we want them to actually get into effective range. Oh, hello. What are you trying to do here? Apparently not much. Oh, I got shot. Okay, be careful. Be careful. Let's try and disappear a little bit into our infantry line. And we seem to be still doing a decent job, I think. I mean, we've killed a lot of units, so there's that. Oh, yeah. There we go. Oh, nice damage. Oh, I like it. Oh, never mind. I got shot. Yes, I got shot. You may think that I actually got killed by this crossbowman right here. He had a... what is it now? An overhead. Yes, he had an overhead attack ready for us, but I actually took piercing damage. So that tells me that I got shot from somewhere. Obviously, me running around with a two-handed is kind of asking for it. Absolutely asking to get shot in the face, or in the chest in this case. But otherwise, I believe this is indeed a victory. As you can see right here, we've killed over 700 of their units. And amusingly enough, my own army has done most of the damage, doing 677 of the killing blows. Look at the huge amounts of bodies, and it seems like, oh, look at that, we've actually lost a companion who, again, you probably wouldn't have seen. You probably wouldn't have seen huge amounts of our companions in this series, because I literally have never, ever shown them, because usually they're all about doing those caravans. Oh yes, they're all about doing those caravans and everything. So we're just going to be taking these guys prisoner. Oh, there was only 4? There's only 4 of them? I actually can't believe that. That is extremely surprising to me. I would have expected there to be at least 7, 8, maybe even 9. They had a huge number of people. Very strange indeed. Let's send this guy in there. There we go. Get him potentially taken prisoner. I think he's actually already been taken prisoner by the looks of things, so don't really need to worry about anything there. And otherwise, here we go. Let's actually take a look. All right, so these guys are going to get murdered, all of them, because this guy specifically has been a huge problem for us. And look at that, Avlandia has elected Allery as the new ruler with majority support. He's actually dead now. Should we tell the Valandians that he's actually dead or no? Apparently he doesn't know. Or apparently they don't know that he's dead. Okay, so who's actually the leader? Oh. Yeah, no one can be the leader now. No one is the leader. Because we have literally killed their entire clan. The leader clan has now been completely destroyed. And as a result, they don't have any leader anymore, or I don't even know whether a faction can continue without a leader. That's actually kind of an interesting situation. Let's see what happens. Let's actually see what happens with those Valandians. Maybe they're going to show themselves to be a somewhat self-governing entity. Yes, that might be quite an amusing situation to be in here. But I'm just going to build some things. The siege camp builds so fast when you actually have proper vassals in your army and you don't just build it yourself, at least in my case, because even though I have, how much? I think I have a pretty significant amount of engineering. It's not that significant. I have 99, but as you can see, I have 5 focus points in it, and it literally takes me a huge amount of time to level it up for some reason. I don't know why that is, but it does take a long time. Anyway, with these proper vassals in our army, we're going to be able to build these siege weapons extremely fast too. I should also mention, by the way, that in my off-screen time, I did try to lure some of the enemy armies. I mean, it's not really luring, so to speak, but I did try to follow them and indeed try to get them to... Oh, okay. Apparently the game just crashed. Not entirely sure how that happened, but apparently it did. Anyway, as I was saying before, we were rudely interrupted by the crash, and I still have no idea why that happened, by the way. I didn't receive any error message to do with any mods or any game files or anything like that. It was just like, oh, this application has encountered an error. You know, the standard thing that you get if you are having problems with the game itself. So I don't know. No idea what happened there. But anyway, yes, as I said, basically, what I wanted to do was get into a siege defense, and so what I was trying to accomplish was following around a large-ish army and hopefully getting into a situation where we could indeed participate in a siege defense. Oh, they really don't allow you to do that anymore? Oh, that's kind of sad. I was hoping that I would be able to do a small crowd surf there, and if you don't know about crowd surfing, I pity you, because... you need to know about crowd surfing, yes. Anyway, crowd surfing basically is what I would try to do in Warband, and it would work out quite nicely because you could basically balance on enemy or your own unit's shoulders, and as a result of that, you would pretty much be above the action, and you would have this pretty funny sort of floating animation with your character, and it would just be a whole bunch of fun, especially considering if you did it while they were on a staircase or a set of steps, like for example this. Let's say that your units are all standing here and they're all like fighting down the stairs, and you're at the top without falling off, of course. But if you're at the top, then what you can basically do is you can jump onto the heads, I guess, or the shoulders of the allied units, and you can pretty much slide down. You can literally slide down all the way past your unit and take no fall damage as a result of that. So if you wanted to, you know, get to the back of the opponent and try to maybe do some damage to help out your forces, you could indeed do that by utilizing the crowd surf, pretty much. So yeah, that's a pretty cool technique. Okay, does it work here? Does it work here? Yeah. No, it doesn't seem to work here anymore. That's unfortunate. I suppose the hitboxes have been refined so much that it's basically impossible to make that work any further. But I suppose if you do want to have a little bit of crowd surfing nostalgia, then Warband is there waiting for you in your Steam library. Anyway, there you go. There's a nice victory for us. We literally lost 12 units total. What an insane kill-death ratio. And by the way, I still have all the damage modifiers on realistic or maximum. So nothing has changed. Nothing has changed there. As you can see right here, look at this. There you go. That is everything. What is this? Enable right side. Choose if circle map notifications will be shown on the right side of the campaign map. Does that mean over here? I have no idea. But oh well. Never mind. Okay, so basically what we're going to do now that we've taken this castle, I'm probably not going to claim it for myself, but basically what we're going to do now is we're going to try and take our army and maybe try and take another castle, or maybe even take Overhaul. We'll see if any vassals appear out of the woodwork, though. We have now a peace agreement to decide on. Well, yes, deciding on this is basically a no-brainer pretty much, and I guess I might as well literally just spend 100 influence every single time one of these votes comes up, because it will probably give me more charm skill, probably give me a massive amount more relation, and I have the influence to spend, of course. And amusingly enough, I have been going to this menu and basically giving people influence for free, pretty much. Like Fafan, for example. I've been giving him a huge amount of influence over time, and he seems to still be doing a massive amount, which is pretty crazy. We could also give these people, we could give these people as well, and I mean, literally, I still have 3,600. I could even give more and more and more if I wanted to, but I think I'm just going to leave it for the moment, and we'll see what happens with Varyag Castle, which is what we're attempting to take next. Oh, what's going on here? Alright, seems like we lost an entire army to the might of the Aserai. I am quite surprised by that, actually. I would have expected our forces to be able to handle the Aserai. However, it appears to me like the Aserai might even be overtaking, as you can see, overtaking the Khuzait, which is, I would say, probably unheard of in any of my series so far. The Aserai usually stay around the sort of medium level of combat strength. They never get too strong or too weak until the very end of their lifespan. Whereas the Khuzait, they always pretty much have a lot of strength available. Now, what I find most amusing, let me see if I can, if maybe you can see what I'm trying to impart to you here. What is the weirdest stat on this screen that you can see? I think it's pretty obvious. Successful raids. 331. I think that's a bug. I personally do not believe that the Vlandians or any of these people have perpetrated 331 raids. I think that is insane. Like, I personally don't think that it's physically possible, because there are literally only so many villages in the entirety of both factions' empires, and it's just not possible, surely, because the raid lasts for how long? How long does the raid last for? I mean, once it's been looted, that is. Once it's been looted, how long does it last? I mean, that's the point. Does the stat count the beginning of a raid, or does it only count the completion? Because if it counts the beginning, then obviously there's going to be, well, exponentially more. Because, well, it's obvious, you know, they start a raid and then they finish it prematurely because I've appeared or someone else has appeared, and then they go back there and then they do the same thing again where they restart the raid and so on and so on and so on. So it could just be a slight AI issue, or it could be that the stat is recording the wrong, shall we say, the wrong specification, or what is it now? The wrong... Oh, I can't even remember what it's... what is the word I'm looking for? Well, never mind. Basically, you know what I'm talking about. It's just basically recording the wrong data. There we go. That might be it. Anyway, it's recording the wrong data in that sense, because really what it should be counting is the completion of a raid rather than the beginning of it, because otherwise it's artificially inflating the statistic, and that doesn't make any sense, because I could literally go to a village right now, I could start a raid and then stop it and then start a raid again, and that means I've done 2 raids? No, that doesn't make any sense, does it? I don't think it makes any sense to me, at least. Anyway, let's see if we can maybe do this. What are they actually... Whoa, okay, they have nothing. This is exactly the reason why we take literally no casualties whatsoever. People ask me in the comments of the past, I don't know, 10, 15 episodes, how are you taking so few casualties? What are your difficulty settings? And obviously I've already shown you those. But this is the reason. This is the reason right here. It's literally because they have only 20 high-tier units in the form of those sharpshooters. Technically, the other ones, the sergeants and the Vougiers, they also are pretty good. But, I mean, these guys literally have nothing. They literally don't have any quality units whatsoever, and they are going to get murdered as a result of that. It is just plain and simple, outgeared, outskilled, and outleveled, and that is it. That is the only thing that is actually giving us the victory here, because let's face it, if we had similar strength, we'd take a huge amount of casualties in these situations. And that's exactly the reason why I was also attempting to try and get those armies a little bit disbanded, you know, just to try and take advantage of the cohesion decay. Because that's the point. You got to try and take advantage of every single little thing that can give you an advantage in any way, shape, or form, especially in these kinds of games, because sometimes they do tend to punish you quite a bit for random stuff, and if you can try to punish the AI back, then that's always a good idea. Get him. Yes, yes, I'm getting so many kills right here. Very nice indeed. I'm hoping that I will be able to get to 150 two-handed weapon proficiency. I'm almost there, I believe. I think I have about 142, I think. I'm actually not sure about that, so hopefully we will be able to see that after this. But I think I saw in a previous battle in this episode that we actually ranked up to 141, so it would be nice if we could get those extra 9 points, but it is very difficult. I don't know whether you've noticed, but it is very difficult for me to level up, even with mods that provide me an additional little bit of skill gain. And so Orig Frostbeard is the person that has now been lost in this siege. Oh, the death mechanic. The death mechanic is rather amusing. Okay, so there you go. Orig Frostbeard. He's also actually, by the way, one of our companions, I believe, so that's another one that you've never seen ever. And yes, otherwise we are just going to be telling everyone to disband. Now they can go and do whatever they want to do. And this is what the map is currently looking like. Let's take a look here. What's actually going on here? Vote for the owner of Varyag Castle. Okay, so that's absolutely fine. And yeah, so this is what the map is looking like. We're at war against everyone. Is it just me, or do they want the Sturgians to literally die? It feels to me like they just want to kill the Sturgians and that's it, because the Crusade are only at war against us, as far as I'm aware. Uh-huh. Okay, who do they actually want to give this to? Personally, I want to give this to Yorig, so I'm actually going to just give it to him, because Vipon, even though he has a negative relation with us, he might have a decent relation with someone else, and I kind of don't want to take a chance on someone that isn't natively Sturgian, because generally Sturgians are more than likely not going to leave too much. I'm not looking at Godun here, because Godun was, well, backstabby guy #1, but yes. Anyway, let's have a look here. Ah, no, the Crusader are at war against the Northern Empire. Yeah, that makes no difference whatsoever. Yeah, that makes no difference whatsoever at all. And it seems like the Northern Empire is getting an absolute beating from a number of different sources. The Southern Empire is at war against the Britanians. Vlandia is only at war against us, technically. And you can see the amount of casualties inflicted as well. Britannia at war against the Western Empire too. And Britannia, wow, yeah. Oh, they're actually building up. Look at that. They're actually building up their combat strength a little bit. Last I saw, they were at about 3,000, so now they've got almost double that, which is pretty good. Otherwise, I think that's going to be it for this episode. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like. Otherwise, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.